I don't know anybody who has tried leeks and who doesn't love them, and they are the kings of vegetables, among the kings of vegetables in France. And they can be cooked in lots of different ways. Today we're going to be roasting them, and so let's just talk a little bit about how to prepare them for roasting, or whether you're going to put them in, cut them in rings and fry them up. No matter what you do, the main thing is that you trim them and that they are well cleaned. Oven roasted leeks with a Dijon vinaigrette. For our oven roasted leeks with a Dijon vinaigrette, this is just a very simple dish, and it just really highlights the flavor of the leeks. So the first thing that we're going to do, since we've got our leeks are ready to go, they have been rinsed and they have drained, and so they are cleaned. But we've got some water set to boil here, and we're going to add some sea salt to that. You can add sea salt or kosher salt, and you know, a lot of times people ask, you know, how much salt do you add to boiling water, just like for when you're making pasta. And I typically add a tablespoon of salt to a liter of water. So, you know, maybe assume a liter is a quart. So if you're using a quart of water, add a tablespoon of salt. So we are now, what we're going to do is we're going to tie our leeks together, because we don't want them we don't want them coming apart. And similar to the way that we do a bouquet garni, we're going to use some kitchen string, and I've got probably 5 times the length of the leeks, and we're just going to start at one end. We've got a length here, a little bit right here, probably the length of one leek, and we are just simply going to start at the top and just wrap this string around the leeks, just like that. And then we'll just tie them, loosely tie them. And again, really this is just to hold the leeks together. We're going to be removing the string once they're parboiled. So now we'll stick them in the boiling water and let them go. And we're just going to let those parboil for probably 10 minutes. Leeks, strangely enough, I mean, you wouldn't think so, but they actually take quite a while to cook. So the process here is we're going to partially cook these in the boiling water, and then we're going to drain them and let them dry. Then we're going to put them in the oven to roast. That's where our incredible flavor is going to come from. So we're going to roast them in the oven with some olive oil. We'll put a little bit of seasoning in that, and then we're going to finish them with this awesome Dijon vinaigrette that we're going to make. So for our Dijon vinaigrette, we've got, of course, Dijon mustard, and I've got a little bit, and I think I've got about probably 2 teaspoons of this Dijon mustard. And I've got, in this case, I've got 50 milliliters of champagne or white wine vinegar, and then I've got 100 milliliters of extra virgin olive oil. And in this case, when I say extra virgin olive oil, I'm talking about the good stuff. I'm not talking about the stuff that you cook with. I'm talking about extra virgin olive oil, the stuff that you want to get off the top shelf. So this really is just how you make a basic vinaigrette. So we are going to start our vinaigrette like we always do by adding a little bit of, we'll add a little bit of our mustard. That may be too much, so we may only use a teaspoon of this mustard for the quantity that we're making. And we'll add some salt, and this salt and pepper, and we're really just seasoning our vinaigrette, and just what we think we'll use. And then now we'll add our white wine vinegar, and let's just kind of move that around a little bit just to get it combined. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to drizzle in our olive oil to emulsify this. And if you want to do this and, you know, have a way to keep your bowl from moving around while you do it, just put a little moist towel on the ground there, or on your bench there, and let that take up some of that movement. And now, using our whisk, we'll start whisking this, and we'll just start drizzling in our olive oil. And really, when you're making a vinaigrette, basically you want to use about 3 times the amount of whatever the amount of acid that you've used. If that acid is lemon juice, if that acid is vinegar, it could be red wine vinegar, white wine vinegar, balsamic vinegar, whatever that is, you want to drizzle in your olive oil, and as you do it, you can see it coming together, and that is called emulsifying. That's what emulsification is. So this, it's a good guide. And before you get all of that in there, you can actually stop it and just take a quick taste and see how we're going there. Oh, it's really good. Now, if it's still really vinegary and you're really still tasting a lot of the vinegar in there, continue to put your olive oil in. In this case, it's still a little bit astringent, which tells me that I need to put a little bit more olive oil in there. So I'm just going to continue with my olive oil. And we probably will end up using all of this olive oil. Just like that. And then we'll taste it again. We'll taste it again for seasoning. Let's rinse our spoon. And we'll taste that one more time for seasoning. It's really nice. We can balance it out with a little bit more salt. I didn't put very much salt in it from the very beginning, so we'll add a little bit of salt to it. And if you notice that your vinaigrette seems a little heavy, and it feels like you feel like it just needs, it's just missing something, you know, that certain je ne sais quoi, then you might want to just add just a drizzle of lemon juice, because a lot of times that is something that will do what they call lifting. It will just lift your sauce or your vinaigrette to the next level. So let's try now. Okay, it's very good. So that is a great vinaigrette that you can use for, and we'll use this to finish our leeks with. Now let me say something about vinaigrette. You know, people don't realize how easy it is. I mean, we've literally just made a salad dressing here that can be used for salads every single day. I mean, it's going to be our dressing for our leeks for the end of the leeks, but this can be used for anything. And you know, don't get hung up too much on getting stuck to recipes, especially when you're making a vinaigrette, because this recipe now can be used to make, if you wanted it to be an Asian style vinaigrette, add a little bit of sesame oil to it, maybe some crushed red peppers, a little bit of lime juice, you know, that kind of thing. You could add a little bit of honey to it. There's lots of different things, because you know, a lot of times you'll taste a vinaigrette and you'll think, you know, it needs to be a little bit sweeter or something. You know, you could add some honey to it. You could add some sugar to it if you want. But really, go ahead and just use your imagination when you're making a salad dressing, and you know, you can avoid, you know, spending, you know, $2 or $3 on a bottle of salad dressing about this size when you've just made it at home for, you know, 35 cents with ingredients you already have on hand. If you've got basically a salad dressing is basically an acid, and you need something to help it emulsify, which is what the Dijon Mustard does. And it also provides a little bit of acid. And then you need the oil. So it can be an olive oil, it could be a grapeseed oil, or what have you. And then you can season it, you know, with a little bit of sesame oil if you want some more Asian type flavor to it. So, you know, experiment with it, and it's just not the end of the world. So that is it for the vinaigrette. And now we will check our leeks, and we'll go from that point. Our leeks are nice and parboil. I mean, they're very soft here. So we are going to actually now put those in some ice water bath. Stop the cooking because we don't want them cooking anymore. They may be cooked as much as we want. So we'll let them sit in there for 2 or 3 minutes, and then we will take them out and we will drain them on some paper towel. Okay, these guys have cooled down now. They've stopped their cooking. So now we can trim the string. Just cut the string. And the one good thing about this is all of these leaves on the outside that are falling off, this is a good thing because it shows you the parts that are going to be bitter if you don't remove them. So all of these outside leaves, we're just gonna take those off because they're going to be bitter and stringy. There we go. And one last one. There we go. All right. So we will let these fellows drain for a little bit. And once we finish getting them drained, we'll go ahead and slice them all the way through, and then we'll start our roasting process. Our leeks have drained, and now they drained partially, and we're gonna finish cutting them in half and let them finish draining. But in the meantime, we're going to coat the bottom of our pan with some olive oil, and this is just a casserole dish, and we're gonna put this in our preheated oven to let that get really nice and hot. So we'll go ahead and put that in the oven, and now we'll finish cutting these in half. And I'm just gonna put them cut side down to let them continue draining on this paper towel. And we're really just trying to remove as much of the moisture as we can from them. You're not ever going to get all of it out, but we'll do as much as we can. So in the meantime, our pan is getting really hot, and once it gets really, really hot, we will then take these off and put them on the pan and start our roasting process. Okay, our oil should be good and hot, and now our leeks are drained, and we're just going to add them to our pan. And there's the sound we want to hear. Nice little sizzle. And basically we're almost kind of fried. You know, we want this oil, this is a very important step. We really want this oil to be nice and hot so that we get that sizzle when we put our leeks in. And that assures us that we're going to get some caramelization when we put them back in the oven and start cooking. So now we just got them sizzling in our oil, and we'll put those back in the oven and let them start roasting. Hey everybody, it's Walter from Artistic Gourmet Adventures. My wife Kim and I own this unique small group tour company where we host groups of 6 to 12 guests for 1-week luxury adventures in beautiful locations throughout Europe and the United States. I have the privilege of being the adventure chef, creating and preparing daily gourmet meals for our guests. So, in this video series, from our cozy home kitchen here in the beautiful Loire Valley of France, we will demonstrate a wide variety of recipes, from culinary classics to originals, as well as covering professional kitchen techniques for the home chef. For more information on Artistic Gourmet Adventures, check our website, linked in the description below. All right, let's check on our leeks. And look at that, very nice. So they seem to be coming along very well. And let's just flip them and see what we have here. I'm going to try to do this without breaking them apart. Ooh, nice. Okay. Yes, some nice caramelization on the bottoms of those. All right, so we'll get these all flipped over, and then we'll put them back in and let them caramelize a little bit more on the back side. Our leeks have been going now for probably 20 minutes. They should be nice and done. So let's take those out of the oven. And oh yes, look at that. Very nice. And let's just put a little bit of take a knife and, oh, it just goes right through. So they are definitely done. Even on the root end here, I can just put my knife right through the edge of those. So very nice, just like that. So now what we'll do is we'll season them just a little bit in the pan, and we're just going to let them stay here in the pan because these leeks are actually tasty when they are room temperature. So we're just going to let them cool in the pan, and when we get ready to serve them, they'll be at room temperature, and we'll be able to drizzle over our Dijon vinaigrette. These leeks are done. They are nice and roasted. Got a little caramelization going on there. And we are now ready to take these to our serving dish. So we'll just pull them over here like that. Another one on this side. And let's bring them here. And we can just drizzle them a little bit with our Dijon vinaigrette. And look at that. Talk about some wonderful flavor. Oven roasted leeks with a Dijon vinaigrette. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more, give us a thumbs up below and hit that subscribe button. It's free. And ring the bell if you want to be notified as soon as we release a new video. Also, let us know in the comments if you have any special recipe requests. We really appreciate you tuning in. See you next time.